Hey guys, Sausage here. Before we get started, I just want to mention that this could have potential spoilers. I saw in another video that someone had a spoiler tag, and so I figured just to be safe, I'm gonna do this. I don't know if it matters, but yeah, here's your spoiler warning. Anything I talk about in this video could be a spoiler. You've been warned. Um, let's get started. So Into the Light came out yesterday, and there's also the live stream of the final shape gameplay. At first, I wasn't gonna watch it, and then I kind of thought not even making a video, but I did end up watching it, and holy cow! I think that's pretty much the general consensus, the mood that everybody has about the final shape. That was that was incredible. Before we actually get started on that, let's talk about Onslaught. We're just gonna make Onslaught real quick. Um, I'm having a lot of fun. At first there were a lot of error codes when Onslaught first launched, but I think that seems to be resolved. You know, I took about a break for about an hour, came back, and there are no issues. With that said, Onslaught, I'm having a lot of fun with it already. I can't wait to play some more. Um, here's what I've learned so far about Onslaught, and maybe you can take some of this advice. First, as for upgrades, the turrets should take top priority. And that's just my opinion. I think the turrets are fantastic. The best defense is a good offense, or maybe it's the other way around. Either way, turrets top priority. After that, trip mines. The trip mines are good, but those are stationary. They're not going anywhere. That's a good defense. Last, the sweeper bots. I personally haven't bought any sweeper bots. I'd rather save my scrap for turret upgrades and for mines. Somebody I played with did buy a sweeper bot, and a tormentor ended up targeting the sweeper bot rather than us. So they were helpful, which I was a little bit surprised at. I thought that they would be, especially by a tormentor, I figured they'd be one shot pretty quick. Um, but the sweeper bots do help. That said, go with turrets. That should be top priority. Then the trip mines. Finally, the sweeper bots. I played the intro quest. It's only 10 rounds, and that was fun. But I wanted to get into the nitty gritty. I wanted a challenge, and so I ended up playing. I believe it's legend mode. Maybe it's master. One of them's the harder difficulty. I did not play the harder difficulty yet. I did not play it yet, but I did play the 50 round version. That is also a lot of fun. If you like the 10 round version, you'll like the 50 round even more. Um, I will say, after wave 30, it becomes substantially more difficult. I feel like, for whatever reason, all the enemies get a little tougher, they hit a little harder. But also, if you are to go down after wave 30, there's not only a revive timer. There's like a 6 or 7 minute, or I'm sorry, 6 or 7 second timer before you can be revived. But also, if your entire fire team goes down uh, after wave 30, you're immediately returned to orbit. There's no respawn timer. Um, so that makes things a little more tricky, a little more difficult. Stasis, in my opinion, fantastic in this game mode. It's not it's not the end all be all subclass for this activity, because I did play solar a little bit, but stasis, it does surprisingly well. Well, okay, maybe not surprisingly. A lot of us kind of had the idea that stasis would be good, but it definitely is good. If you're a little cautious because it's stasis, you're not a really big stasis fan, give it a shot. You'll be surprised. Stasis feels very good in Onslaught. As for the quests, there's quests to unlock the brave weapons, or at least, the better RNG, the buff to the RNG. There's quests that you need to complete to increase the chance of these weapons dropping. Now, the drop rate is a lot higher when you have this activated, but the golden shader, the special weapons, those still are pretty rare to drop. The first weapon that you are allowed to focus on, I don't know if focus is the right word, but the first weapon that you're able to do this with is Elsie's rifle, the pulse rifle. And I got so many of those. Same thing with Eager Edge. I'm sorry, not Eager Edge. Whatever the grenade launcher is. I don't have Destiny up right now to look. But those two weapons, I kept getting those back to back to back constantly. I just finished the SMG quest because I really want a God Roll Recluse. I think that would go well with my Void builds. And so when I first started doing that quest, I was running Arc because it was an Arc Surge, and I figured, okay, if I run Arc, I can do more damage. I'm using the Ecleos SMG. I'll blaze through this. Wrong. I was wrong. I don't know. I don't know how many kills it takes, but I was not making very good progress with the Ecleos SMG. So I ended up, I was running it with my brother, and he decided to switch to Solar and run Midas Mini Tool. And I figured, you know what, it can't be any worse than the progress I'm making now. And I ended up, blazing through it. I think it took me 2 runs on the Legend mode, the 50 round mode. I think it took me 2 runs to complete the quest for the SMG kills. So if you plan on running that, don't use Ecleos. If you have Midas Mini Tool, use that. I think it's going to be a big help. Now I'm running the Scout Rifle quest, and I'm using Stasis. I'm using Wicked Implement. After that, I'm going to wait until there is a sword, sword damage bonus, and then I'll probably run the swords as well. My brother is doing swords. He's got Throne Cleaver, and just from taking out, bosses, like, the big bosses or even mini bosses that show up during the waves, he said he uses his sword on the big guys, and through, only like 2, maybe 3 rounds tops, he's already got 6%. It doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're only targeting the big guys, I mean, that's a lot of progress for not a lot of people and not a lot of enemies, which makes sense because, it's a sword. I feel like getting sword kills is a lot harder than SMG kills, but that's where I'm sitting with all that. That's what I would recommend if you plan on running those quests. Okay, let's move on to the live stream. So first, I'm not sure if anyone else missed it, but you can see the witness's face in the tornado in the beginning. I missed it the first 3 times I watched it. The first time I missed it was because I was looking at the HUD, or like the UI down in the left corner. I remember the moment the video started, I'm looking down there, and I didn't know how to respond. Like, I forgot how to talk for a second. I was a little speechless. I didn't know how to describe what I was looking at. I'm watching the live stream with my brother, and I want to tell him, like, look at that down there. Look in the lower left. I wanted to say that, but I couldn't. I just couldn't. I didn't have the words. So, eventually I said, "What is that pink bar?" To which my brother responded, "What? What pink bar?" And then he yelled, "What is that?" you know that they're running a strand grapple grenade, the stasis hunter shurikens, and then I thought it was like a solar dodge. I don't remember what they all were, but I remember seeing it and I'm thinking, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right. What is going on down there? I am so hyped for Prismatic, and I think pretty much anybody else who watched it is also hyped as well. That said, I do have a little bit of a concern, but I think that's due to a lack of knowledge. You know, they just announced it yesterday. We don't know all the details, and I think that's why I'm a little concerned. And it's not necessarily concern. It's more, I'm curious. We'll go with that. I'm more curious than I am concerned. I'm not even cautious. The reason I say that is because, you know, it's super cool that we can use Solar and Arc and then switch to Strand and then over to Void and then over to Stasis. Having that freedom to, you know, to choose what we use is incredible. But just because we have that freedom doesn't necessarily mean that is going to be effective. Now, before anyone says, "Oh, Sausage, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, you're stupid. You're not a game developer." Yeah, I know. I'm not a game developer. I don't work at Bungie. I'm sure that it's going to work, because if it wasn't going to work, they weren't going to do this. But that said, like, have they found a way to make every little piece of every little subclass viable to work together? Or is it just, here's the freedom to do it, now you have to figure out on your own what works? And that's what I'm curious about, right? I'm not concerned, I'm not cautious, I'm curious. Are there going to be specific builds that work best? Well, yeah, of course. That's how it works for every game. But will every combination be viable, or will there be some combinations that are just complete dog turds? That's what I'm curious about. How is this going to work? We're going to find out more information the closer the final shape gets. You know, they might release more information, and of course we'll figure it out once the actual expansion launches. But sitting here right now, I'm just wondering, how is this going to work? Just because I can use all these things doesn't mean it's going to be effective. So we're gonna have to wait and see. The exotic class item. I really hope, and this might be a controversial opinion, but I really hope the RNG is pretty low, because I think a good role should be something special. You know, I don't think I should be able to farm the exotic class item and get one after like every single strike that I do. Not that I would get it after every single strike, but you guys know what I'm saying. If I can just continuously farm these exotic items, exotic class items for the role that I want, it's not going to feel special. And you know, that's how a lot of people felt originally with exotics. Like, they were pretty rare. You get an exotic, oh my god, this is really cool. This makes my character special. And now everybody has every exotic, and you know, there's no originality, there's no uniqueness. And you know, that's fine. You don't need to be unique, you don't need to be original, you don't need to be special. But if you introduce something like this to make your character special, it should stay special. And you know, even though there might be a class item, exotic class item that I want with 2 specific roles, that doesn't mean I should be able to necessarily farm it until I get it. Because if I can farm it until I get it, everyone else can do it as well. And everybody should have that opportunity. But you know, it's like Syndrome from The Incredibles. When everybody's special, nobody's special, right? So I hope that they keep the RNG low so that when I see a character with an exotic class item, I kind of think in the back of my head, okay, what's this person going to do? I want to see what they're going to do. They're going to do something crazy. I can't wait to see what it is. On the topic of exotic class items, I hope that it's either transmoggable or it has ornaments. And I've kind of seen the same sentiment about that online as well. It looks nice, but what is it going to match with? It stands out. I don't want to run around with this one piece on me that doesn't match anything else, and I'm pretty sure everybody else feels the same way. As for transmog, I'm not sure how I feel about that because, like I said previously, it is a special item. It should look special. But it's kind of like, an exotic ornament. Let's take Outbreak Perfected, for example. That's a very unique looking gun, but you might not like the way it looks, so, it's got ornaments. There's options. I think ornaments for the exotic class item is a good idea. I'm not so sure about transmog. Now, a lot of people are talking about PvP. I don't think we need to mention PvP. PvP, I'm not going to say that it's going to be broken, but PvP is going to change, and it's not ever going to be the same after this. They've opened Pandora's box by mentioning Prismatic. There's no going back. They made this. It's going to be different from day one of launch of the final shape. PvP is going to be forever changed. I don't play PvP, but to anyone who does, I feel for you. Good luck, and have fun, I guess. As for the enemies, again, I don't want to talk too much about that, only because I feel like there's not much to say. A lot of people have wanted new enemies for a while. We got new enemies. They seem to be super cool. And that's really all I've got to say about it. Until I actually get to fight them, I can't really form an opinion. But based on what I've seen, what we've seen, I've got no complaints. I can't wait to fight them. They look pretty cool. And so that's pretty much it. I'm going to give that live stream a 10 out of 10. It was exactly what I was hoping for, plus more. I cannot see how any Destiny fan couldn't be excited about this. But we're just going to have to wait and see what the final shape actually looks like upon release. I plan on running the Whisper mission today. I'm probably not going to make a video. I might make a video about it, but I'd much rather wait and make a video after I've actually ran it and I know where all the secret chests are, so I can make a guide on it. I plan on doing the same thing with 0 Hour in a couple weeks when that releases. I've already got Whisper and I've got Outbreak Perfected. I've got the catalyst for both of them. So after I run them, I'm going to try to craft these weapons with the catalyst and all that good stuff as soon as I can. And since I have both weapons with the catalyst, it's supposed to go quicker. But that's kind of where I'm sitting right now. If you watched the Into the Light live stream, or if you've played Onslaught, let me know in the comments what your thoughts and opinions are on all this. I'm assuming everybody's pretty hyped right now. I'm assuming most people like Onslaught. So I won't be too surprised if everybody says, "Oh yeah, Sausage, I loved it too." But just let me know. I think I'm gonna cut the video here. Mahoney out.